Hello and welcome to Sports Fan Entertainment. 32 teams, 32 days, and today we are talking about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as a part of my 2017-18 season previews. Remember to head over to sportsfanentertainment.com for the article previewing the Bucs. The link to this article will be down in the description box below. Slowly, I am falling in love with this Bucs football team, especially after them being on Hard Knocks as this show currently airs. And Jameis Winston, man, this guy is the star of the show. I like this team heading into the 2017-18 season, but I liked it before Hard Knocks too. We're going to look at this team, look at their strengths, their weaknesses, give you a fantasy outlook for this team, give you some bold predictions for this team, and some of them are really bold, and end this video with a win-loss prediction for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Let's talk about the Bucs' strengths. Let's start with their defensive line. Let's start with the middle of their defensive line with a great combination, I think, in Gerald McCoy and Chris Baker. They signed Chris Baker from the Washington Redskins. He's been one of their better defenders for a couple of years now. He's going to come in and make a huge impact in the run game and as a pass rusher as well. And speaking of pass rush, how about Gerald McCoy, who has probably the best get off in the NFL, man. This guy just gets off the line of scrimmage. He's so insane. He's so crazy. And he also has a great personality too, as we are seeing on Hard Knocks. You gotta love Jared McCoy. This is such a great duo. And they still have Clinton McDonald in this rotation. And they also, look at this draft pick here in the 7th round, Steve Tuikolovatu out of USC. I think this guy can come on the field as a nose tackle whenever they need him to. We'll see if he can make the team. I like the interior defenders here for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Look at the edge defenders. We have Robert Ayers. You have to like him. To me, he's definitely a good player. Noah Spence, who played last year for the Bucs, and to me he was actually a decent rookie. Can't wait to see if he can take a step forward this upcoming season. William Golston, he's still here in the rotation. He sets the edge well against the run. Not a great pass rusher, but he's definitely a good run defender in the NFL, so you have to like that combination to me. We move on to their wide receivers in Tampa Bay, and man, they are stacked. Okay, gone is Vincent Jackson, but we don't care because we signed Desean Jackson in free agency, and you have to love this guy. Now, I actually expect him to have a bit of a down year this year, but he's going to add a deep dimension to this Tampa Bay Bucs offense that Jameis Winston sorely needs. I can't wait to see that. And obviously Mike Evans. Okay, this guy's a borderline top 5 wide receiver. In fact, I think he's a top 5 wide receiver. Now, sometimes he can drop the ball a bit too much, but it's mainly just a concentration issue with him. As long as he has his head in the game, he's going to come down with these catches. You even saw like a big drop in the preseason game number 2, but look, man, Mike Evans is a freaking beast. Okay, this guy's one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. You also have Adam Humphries, who I don't love, but as a number 3 or number 4 option, I think is a decent option there. You know, running some shallow crosses, some slant routes. That's a good wide receiver there. You guys drafted Chris Godwin in the 3rd round out of Penn State, and he's been having some catches in preseason. This guy's looked pretty good to me. Hasn't made too many waves in training camp, but I think he's going to make an impact this year as a number 4 option. I think this is a great number 4 option in a 3rd round pick that to me should have went in the 2nd round in Chris Godwin. I like the wide receivers in Tampa Bay. We look at the linebackers in Tampa Bay. We have a great combination there as we have Quan Alexander and Lavonte David. They are the leaders in this linebacker core, and they are very good in their own right. Gotta love Quan Alexander. Had a great year last year. Lavonte David, we know what we can expect from him. He's one of the more consistent players in the NFL. The Bucs also drafted Kendall Beckwith, and this guy's been running around well in preseason. He's been making plays. I've been watching this guy making an impact. Hopefully he can end up starting for this team. Riley Bulla, okay, that Southern guy we've been seeing his parents on Hard Knocks. This guy's a great leader. Only a 2nd or 3rd team guy, but you have to like him to me. We'll see who can end up starting next to David Alexander, but to me it doesn't matter too much when you have David Alexander. So to me the linebackers are a strength at Tampa Bay. And of course the tight end position. I mean, the Bucs went out and drafted O.J. Howard in the 1st round of the 2017 NFL draft with the number 19 overall pick. He should have went to me top 15. It was a top 15 talent. This guy's a great tight end prospect. And you still have Cameron Brate. And Jameis Winston knows this. He's been throwing to Cameron Brate in the preseason. You're just seeing O.J. Howard Howard and Cameron Brate right now just running around, and other teams just don't have an answer for this. Most teams have at most one coverage linebacker on their team, but now you have OJ Howard and Cameron Brate running around. You got to put a slot corner on one of these guys, and they're huge. Okay, so it just presents a bunch of problems. Jameis Winston has so many weapons running around on every given play. I can't wait to see what this offense does this upcoming year. There are some weaknesses, though, for this football team, and they're not even that weak. But let's start with the offensive line. Now, the offensive line, it's not the worst in the league, but it's not great. Now, Donovan Smith, he's a very interesting case study here at the left tackle position. He doesn't allow many sacks, but he gets a bunch of penalties, okay, including a bunch of holding calls. Last year, about 6 holding calls, and those are essentially sacks. Like, you're not getting your quarterback hit, but you're losing 10 yards, okay? You don't lose a yard, you don't lose a down, I should say, so I guess that's not the worst thing, but you're still losing 10 yards, so that hurts for Donovan Smith. He needs to clean up the penalties. He's had over 10 penalties each year in the NFL thus far. If he can do that, he'd be a much better tackle to me, because he's a pretty decent run blocker. He's not great, but he's decent, so the penalties have to go down for Donovan Smith. The left guard right now, I don't love, but the center position, Ali Marpet, I like him. J.R. Sweezy at right guard, didn't play last year. How is he going to play this year? We're going to find out. Preseason's been okay. Right tackle, DeMar Dotson, I like him, but he's had some injuries in the past. He could be aging a little bit too much now because of those injuries, so we'll see about him. I don't love the offensive line right now in Tampa Bay, and I don't think they make a huge impact in the run game from play to play, so this also concerns me a bit, but I think they're fine. They're not one of the worst units in the league, but I just don't love it. The cornerbacks, and this may surprise you a bit. Brent Grimes is great. He played really well last year, but I'm not sure if he's going to continue to be great. I mean, he's getting older, and some years he just has down years where he's just not really that impactful. Last year was fantastic. 24 passes defended, like 4 interceptions. He was great. But some years he could struggle a bit, so look out for that. And even in training camp, I've seen Mike Evans really dominating him, and Evans is great. I understand that. But you also have some great wide receivers in your own division, Julio Jones and Michael Thomas. Okay, so if Brent Grimes is going to cover these guys, he's going to have to do better than how he's been doing on Mike Evans. Look out for that. Vernon Hargreaves, interesting case study for him. So he's very aggressive. You know, he had the interception in the preseason game. But last year just wasn't a great year for him. Pro Football Focus gave him a bad grade. And personally, I mean, you look at his statistics. He had 9 passes defended. Compare that to Brent Grimes' 24. He had 1 interception. Compare that to Brent Grimes' 4. He wasn't great last year, and I saw at times wide receivers just burning this guy. I think he can improve, right? He was a first-round pick last year. He can certainly improve, but right now I don't love him. And the other guys I definitely don't love on this roster. They don't have great cornerback depth at all right now. Robert McClain, Javian Elliott, Vernon Harris, Jude Ajay-Barima. I mean, I don't trust any of these guys in the cornerback depth chart from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers right now. Ryan Smith may be the most intriguing one. Perhaps this guy can get on the field and play, but for right now, the cornerback depth is not great. And I do like Grimes, but I don't love Vernon Hargreaves, so the cornerbacks are a weakness to me for this football team. Look at the positions that are neither strengths nor weaknesses. Let's start with the most controversial one in the quarterback position. Okay, I am a huge Jameis Winston fan. I was before he came in the draft. I thought it was going to be better than Marcus Mariota, although I did think Mariota was going to be very, very, very good. I thought he was going to be great, and he still certainly can be. In fact, right now, he's actually pretty good. But I can't say he's a strength quite yet, because right now he's kind of in Eli Manning range for me, which is the range where you're definitely an NFL quarterback. But at times, you put your team not in a great position to win games, and you can make some foolish errors. Last year, Jameis Winston, 18 interceptions, okay, and over 4 fumbles lost. That's not great, okay? And you have 22 turnovers. Can I really call you a strength? Not yet for Jameis Winston. Now, I think this year he's going to be great, okay? And if he is, then he'll definitely be a strength moving forward. But right now, I just can't quite say that yet for Jameis Winston, although I really like Jameis Winston. I think he's going to end up being a top 10, top 5 quarterback in the NFL. Right now, he's not. So that's why I think he's currently neither a strength nor a weakness. Running back position, Doug Martin. We never know what we're going to get from Doug Martin. Some years he's really good. Some years he's awful. So terrible. Last year was a terrible year for Doug Martin. Now he's missing the first 3 games due to suspension. Cannot love that. Jacquizz Rodgers, he's the backup. Come on, man. I don't like Jacquizz Rodgers as a backup. But you do have Charles Sims, who I mean, he has not been a great runner of the football, but he's a great receiving back. And speaking of great receiving backs, you guys took one in the draft in Jeremy McNichols. So I think the depth here is intriguing and actually pretty good, although I don't love Rodgers. And you look at Doug Martin, you just don't know what to expect from this guy. So this position could be good. It could also be bad, man. It could be really bad. So look out for this position right now. I don't think this run game is going to be very prolific this year, but if Martin comes back and he's really strong, it really could be. And we look at the last unit, the safeties, a decent combination here. You have Keith Tandy, and you also have J.J. Wilcox, whom you signed from the Jacksonville Jaguars. Decent combination there. Not a great combination. Neither one of those guys are going to make the Pro Bowl, but I think it's a decent combination. We look at my fantasy projections for this football team, Jameis Winston. Okay, if he has what I have him getting, then he will be a top 10 quarterback in this league. He will definitely be a strength, but I am reaching a bit. I have him down for 33 touchdowns, 14 interceptions, and 4,200 passing yards. Huge year for Jameis Winston. I mean, this would be a top 5 quarterback year, honestly. So if he can get this, he'll definitely be a strength, but there is a leap to be made there for Jameis. Look at running back Doug Martin. Man, I mean, this is a tough projection for him. I went down for 225 carries, 900 yards, and 5 touchdowns. So a decent year for Doug Martin. We'll see if he can break 1,000, missing 3 games. We'll see. I don't know. And then wide receiver Mike Evans, another big year for him, although it's going to be a little bit down from years past for him, so look out for that. But I have him down for 100 catches, 1,200 yards, and 9 touchdowns. A very good year for Mike Evans. We look at my bold predictions for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Jameis Winston finishes top 5 in touchdown passes this year and enters the top 10 quarterback conversation and maybe even gets in the MVP conversation. I'm expecting a huge year for Jameis Winston because, again, there's just so many weapons running around on every single play. You have receivers out of the backfield and Charles Sims and Jeremy McNichols and even Doug Martin's a nice receiving back, honestly. You have Desean Jackson, Mike Evans, Cameron Braid, O.J. Howard, everybody just running around. You have Chris Godwin running around in empty sets most likely. So, I mean, to me, man, Jameis is going to have a huge year. I expect big things from Jameis Winston. How about this for a bold prediction? The Tampa Bay Buccaneers beat the New England Patriots this year. They faced the Patriots on Thursday Night Football relatively early in the year. I think they get it done. I think they beat the Patriots when they're not expecting for the Bucs to be that good, and I think they get it done. It will not be easy, but this is what I have happening. And bold prediction number 3, I think Desean Jackson is a bit of a disappointment. I think Winston is going to throw a lot to these 2 tight ends and Braden Howard, throw a lot to Mike Evans still. I don't think Evans' production is going to fall at all. While Desean Jackson may only have like 700 receiving yards, which will still be decent, but not as high as some people like, especially if you draft him high in fantasy. So look out for that. Look at the schedule for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and the schedule is a bit tough, but I mean, I think it's pretty manageable as well. Once again, the Bucs are in the NFC South. And as I said for the other NFC South teams, I just have you guys splitting with each and every team, and this probably won't happen, right? Maybe you'll go 4-2, 5-1, maybe you go 2-4. But all these teams are so close to me that I'm just gonna say 3-3 for every team. I think you split with the Saints, the Panthers, and the Falcons. You guys also go up against the AFC East. You travel to Miami, you host New England, travel to Buffalo, and host the Jets. Now, I already said I think you guys beat New England. Okay, that's a bold prediction right there. You guys host the Jets. You should beat them easily. Traveling to Miami, to Buffalo. I feel like you'll trip up one of those games, perhaps Buffalo, although they're not very good. I just think saying 4-0 against the AFC East is too much of a stretch. I just can't say that. So 3-1 against the AFC East. You guys also go up against the NFC North. You host the Chicago Bears in Week 2. Travel to the Minnesota Vikings in Week 3. You go to the Green Bay Packers in Week 13 and host the Detroit Lions in Week 14. Interesting distribution. You should beat both the Bears and the Lions. They are the worst teams in the NFC North to me right now, while the Vikings and the Packers are the tougher teams. So not only are they tougher, but you have to travel to them. That's not a good omen to me. I think you lose to both Minnesota and Green Bay, although perhaps you'll probably really compete with Green Bay. I got to pick Green Bay right now. So 2-2 against the NFC North, and you guys also go up against the teams that finish concurrently with you in the NFC. This means that you host the New York Giants in Week 4, which is not an easy game, and it also means that you guys go up against the other team that finished concurrently with you guys in the NFC, in the Arizona Cardinals in Week 6. You travel to Arizona. Okay, so this is tough, but I think you guys beat the Giants. And at the Cardinals, that one's tough too. But I'd probably say a split there. I think you guys will beat the Giants and lose to the Cardinals, but it could be vice versa as well. Look at my win-loss predictions for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think I just counted 7 losses, but my prediction is 10-6. While best case scenario to me could actually be 12-4. It just depends how cohesive the Bucs are and if they can really reach their potential. Because the thing about the NFL, especially for teams like the Bucs, you're going to be in a bunch of close games, okay? And the Raiders last year won every single close game they were in. That's why they went 12-4, and if Derek Carr stayed healthy, they could have went 13-3. If they were in a close game, they won it. There are other teams like the Titans last year where if they're in a close game, they might win it, okay? And they go about 9-7. Which team are you going to be? That's the question for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It just depends on your fourth quarter intangibles. So again, best case scenario, 12-4. You win a lot of these close games against the Falcons, against the Panthers, against the Patriots, against the Giants, against the Cardinals, and it's great. Worst case scenario, I think it's 9-7 though, because man, there's just so much talent here. Perhaps the Bucs start off slow, which would be even surprising with this schedule. It's more tougher as you go along, but perhaps the Bucs start off slow and they have to heat up. But my prediction is 10-6, and right now I cannot decide. Even to this moment, August 23rd, I can't decide if I want to pick the Falcons or the Bucs to win this division. The Panthers to me are not out of it. They could still win it, but I think now I'm just settling between the Bucs and the Falcons. But right now, I'm going to be honest with you, I am leaning Bucs right now. It just depends on how the Falcons defense continues to look in the preseason. But I am leaning Tampa Bay Buccaneers as the NFC South winners in 2017. There's just so many weapons offensively. The defense is already pretty good. They had a great streak last year in the middle to end of the season. I think the Bucs are on the come up, and I can't wait to see what they do this season. So there you go. Those are my thoughts on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. What are your thoughts? Comment down below. I want to know. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, and most importantly, to subscribe. And until next time, I'm out. See you all later.